Hello. Sorry to be so close, but I need to change the settings. Mona, great. Okay, good. So I think you're going to be here with us, right? Hi, Sue. How are you? Hopefully, this will keep you nice and warm up in the frozen Yukon. How are you ladies doing? Anything going on? Anything in particular you'd like to ask or share? I'd like to know if there's anything in particular that's going on. And then we'll let everyone else arrive. So I do have a plan for today, but I always love to hear about other requests. And so if there are other requests, that would be great. Well, I'm glad you're here, Sue. That's great. So, all right, you want to be guided, and you will be. And so I think today will be really nice. I think that for both of you, that this would be a really great practice. And yeah, so there's my chair. We are going to start seated today, which is not always the way I begin, but I thought I would today. So let me take my shoes off. It's a little chilly here. Well, I can't say that to people who are from Montana and the Yukon. You probably look at our weather and you're like, wow, if only I could be in Los Angeles where it's only 60 degrees, right? I'm thinking it's cold. I'm wearing Ugg boots. I've got boots on because it's cold. And you guys are in Montana and the Yukon, frozen tundra. So I have nothing to complain about, right? Okay, let me see. Wow, that is ridiculous. Can't even imagine what -4 Celsius is in Fahrenheit. That is just freezing. Wow, gosh. I made really delicious lentil soup yesterday. I have this unbelievable crock pot that is such an amazing, amazing crock pot. It's called Vita Clay, VITA clay, and it is a clay pot. And it almost acts like a pressure cooker slash crock pot because it really does keep the heat in. And you could even cook a whole chicken if you're going to cook a whole chicken in 2 hours. And so a lot of basic crock pots, you couldn't cook a whole bird but like that in that short time. So it really does cook quickly. And yesterday I made the most delicious lentil soup. And I did pretty low sodium. So I did a lot of extra spices. I had onions and garlic and ginger in there, and then turmeric. I ground some cumin seeds and mustard seeds. And you know what's really interesting to me is that the Indian cuisine actually uses a lot of spices that actually have properties that digest some of the more hard to digest food items. So I find that so interesting that the spices that are used are actually supportive of digestion and breaking down the food. I think it's just like genius that, for thousands of years, that's the way it's been done. Anyway, and I use mung dal because mung dal is actually one of the most bioavailable proteins. And so for building bones, for building muscles, we want to have adequate protein, and beans have a lot of great protein. So I soaked them first to take off any of the growth inhibitor, rinse that out, and then I put them in this Vita Clay for 2 hours, and it was delicious. It is delicious. I'll probably throw in some spinach for my lunch today. Hi, Jeannie. Wow. Oh, Jeannie, that's awesome. You're here. Okay. Let me, is everyone still here? I don't know what's happening. I only see that like one person's here. So let me move this and get going. Okay. So I don't know if you're all still there. Who's here? I see Jeannie. I don't know if Sue and Mona are there, but who knows what the heck is happening or if anything is happening. So, oh, you are. Okay, well, that's so interesting because when I see numbers of people that are here, I don't know. I don't know how to tell with all this. But all right, I'm going to go back and start. Okay. For today's practice, Yoga for Osteoporosis, we are going to begin the practice in the chair. We'll do some of the standing work first. And one of the benefits of doing the practice this way is that you typically need less warm-up time, because the weight-bearing aspect of standing, and in some cases being seated, will deeply stretch some of the muscles and the joints that are important that we use or we focus on when we're practicing yoga for osteoporosis. So the props that you're going to need for today are a blanket, a strap, and a block, and then a chair. And if you don't have a chair and you don't want to come onto a cold chair or be this elevated from the ground, if you feel that mentally you need your mental energy to be grounded closer to the earth, you could do this in a seated position on the ground. So choose whatever, but I would like you to be in a seated position, because when we are in the seated position, it allows for the free flow and the movement of the lungs in all 6 directions. The lungs move forward and backwards, side to side, and top to bottom. And when we are seated and we have an erect spine, we're able to have that full flowing movement of our lungs. So be in a seated position. If you need to be near a wall to be supported, do that. Whatever it is, try to bring the seated posture into your body in whatever way is available to you. And, instead of thinking we can't do things, looking for the ways that we can do things. So whether it's with support or in a different chair or something. So go ahead and get yourself into a seated posture. And in the seated posture, you're going to bring your hands onto your thighs, palms are down, bringing the elbows back by your side. Take the feet a little forward, maybe a little wide, and close your eyes. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose, bringing yourself to this moment. Gathering your thoughts from yesterday, from tomorrow, and bringing them to this moment. Keep your mouth closed, in and out of your nose, breathing. Keep your mind on your breath, following the breath in and out the nostrils. Bring your awareness to the rim of the nostrils. And see if you could feel the coolness of the air coming into your body. Feel the coolness of the breath at the rim of the nostrils and follow that breath up into the nostrils. Let your mind and your awareness be on your nostrils. Following the cool breath in, the mouth is closed. Begin to deepen your breath. Following the coolness up your nostrils, as far as you could feel that cool breath. noticing the activity of your mind. Bring it back to the nostrils, back to the breath. Feel the coolness of the breath in the nostrils. Last few breaths. Let them be as deep as you can. Bring your awareness into your chest. Feel the breath in your chest. Feel the forward movement of the breath, the backward movement to your spine. Breathing out the sides of your body. Breathing up towards your head. Feeling a lift in your torso as you breathe upward. Breathing down to your belly, down to your pelvis. And then take a breath into the front, the back, the sides, the top and the bottom of your lungs. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Add a smile into your lips. And add a beautiful visual as you breathe in with a smile that would make you smile. What's the beautiful visual that would make you smile as you bring breath into your body? Letting your breath go back to your body. Let your breath go back to the body. Let your awareness go up and down your body. Noticing what you notice, the front of the hip joints. Notice what you're sitting on, your sits bones. Where's your weight distributed? Your feet on the floor, left foot, right foot. Your elbows, your hands on your thighs. Bring your awareness to your shoulders with your eyes closed. Are they rounding forward? Is your chest cap caving in? Is your gaze, is your chin pointed downward? Just noticing where your body goes as a default. And with the eyes closed, lift the chin up a few inches. Noticing maybe a little tension, muscular action comes into the upper back and neck area. Push your elbows back so that they're underneath your shoulders. And if you're able to push them into the chair, push them into the chair a lot. Bring your awareness to your chest. Did that activate your chest to lift up like a proud buck in the forest? Chest lifted. Take one more breath. Blinking your eyes open. Pausing to take a breath, really important. Pausing to notice your posture, really important. Pausing to notice where you're breathing and to expand your ability to breathe, very important. Important for your biochemistry, your physiology, important for immune function, for detoxification. We actually can control the body systems when we control respiration, and has a positive domino effect on cardiovascular system, nervous system. And that'll also affect digestion, because if you're able to stimulate the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, you're going to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what helps to support digestion and get peristalsis, that action that needs to take place in the intestines, to take place. So stopping to breathe, bringing your awareness from yesterday, from tomorrow, to this present moment, using as much as you need to keep you here. Coolness of the breath on the nostrils, noticing where the movement is in your body, bringing your awareness down to your feet or to your seat or to your hands. All of those are tools for you to have to help manage your mental energy, because psychological stress leads to bone loss. And we want to really inevitably control the aspect of our mind, which is integral to all aspects of health. And for our purposes in yoga for osteoporosis today, for bone health and for bone metabolism, bone biochemistry. So bring yourself forward. The lungs have 6 ranges of motion. They move forward, backward, side to side, and top to bottom. Let's accentuate that with a little bit of movement. We're going to bring movement also into our shoulder joint. So let's take the hands by the side, open your shoulders, and then hug yourself. You determine where you want your arms to be. So depending on what issues you may have is going to determine how high up your arms go. For those with shoulder issues, your arms may be down here. You may have a more limited range of motion. Keeping your arms open, inhale to open, exhale to hug yourself. Inhale a little bigger now with your movement, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more, bring yourself open as if you were standing looking up at the sun, and close your eyes, feel the rays on your body, hands are to the side, push your hands back, spread your hands. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's do a little side to side, moving your body, warming up the body. So nothing too intentional here. Moving your body in whatever way feels appropriate. And then moving yourself down. Hands are down alongside your body, working as if you were in a vat full of honey. So with resistance, our hands are spread. Spread your fingers so much when you look down, you see white, because you squeeze all the blood out of the tissues in the hands, and then slowly let them release. Look how the color comes back. So really spread them. It goes to white. You're compressing the fluids back into the circulatory system. And then when you release, it comes back into the soft tissue, right? This is what we do when we do the practice of yoga. We're actually moving fluid through our body, whether that's in the joints, whether that's in the soft tissue back in the circulatory system, moving lymphatic fluids through the system. So this is, yes, for your bones, but also for so many other things. Hands down alongside your body. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chin to chest, reach your hands down. Stretch your body glove. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then bring yourself back to center. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Really big circles here with your shoulders. And then bring yourself back to neutral. So we're going to do a breath, a little series here that's going to accentuate the movement of the lungs during breath. And in the seated position, we allow for that flow of our breath up and down our body. So we're going to begin first by doing flexion and extension. So back bend, flexion and extension. Hands begin on the thighs. Exhale. As you inhale, bring your hands up. Let them rest gently on your forehead. Push your elbows back. Open up the front of your body. Exhale, let your hands come back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. And then bring yourself back down. Now we're going to accentuate the side movement, the expansion sideways of the lungs and the stretch of the side body with breath. Exhale. Inhale. Open up your hands. Widen your breath. Widen your body. Exhale. Hug yourself. Let one arm go on top. Squeeze the breath out of your lungs at the end of your exhale. Inhale. Get wider. Exhale, opposite hand on top. Squeeze your lungs at the end. Squeeze your torso. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. And then one more the other side. And then bring your hands down. We're going to stretch our lungs top and bottom. Hands are down alongside the body. Exhale. Inhale. Let your elbows bend. Hold on to your elbows. Exhale. Let the hands rest on your forehead or on your crown of your head. Inhale to lift. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Really stretch your body when you do this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Bring yourself down. Pause. Bring your hands to the side. Bring your hands on top of your elbows. Inhale, arms are up. Exhale, down. Try to keep your arms alongside your body. So if you were up against a wall, your elbows would be sliding up and down the wall, and your head would be touching, and your sacrum and your pelvis would be touching. Lift your heart. Bring your elbows forward. Bring them up. Open your throat. Open your chest. Bring them out and down. Really big circles. So this is for spinal health. This is stretching the front of the spine. This is to prevent or heal compression fractures in the front of the body. That's where they happen, is in the front of the spine. So we want to lengthen the front of the spine. We want to come into this extension or this back bend in the spine. And then bring yourself back to center. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. And then go ahead and get your strap. So make sure you're forward in the chair. You're not sitting up against the back of the chair. You're not resting. You're activating your postural muscles in the seated position to help support your body. Your working posture, even sitting away from the back of the chair. Take the strap. Now this is if you're able to, if your shoulders will let you, coming up and going back. So see what's available for you with your shoulders. Some shoulders, if there's issues, it may be a little challenging. Try to let the strap go as far forward, as far up, and as far back as you can. And then bring yourself up and back. So let the strap be pretty far behind you, reaching up and back, a little back bend in your upper spine. Reach up and back. And then bring yourself down. Take the strap this distance, so not too wide. Take the strap, pull the strap so you have a lot of tension, and bring the strap behind your head. Inhale up, pull on the strap, and exhale down. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale up and exhale down. Keep the strap away from your head. Inhale up, exhale down. Keeping the strap away from your head when you do this. Don't let it rest on your head. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other and then slide the shoulder blades down towards the pelvis. And then bring yourself down, stay here. Pull the strap, don't let it rest on your head. So push the strap away from your head, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Activate the shoulder blades, slide them down towards your pelvis, top of your pelvis. Activating the muscles that draw the shoulder blades towards each other, putting them back on the back, which is their home, which is where they belong, where we need them to support posture and alignment in the spine to help hold you upright. This is your hanger. Pull on that strap and then go ahead and release. You want your upper back to be nice and strong to support your body, to support your spine so you don't collapse your spine and contribute to wedge fractures. It's where half of all the fractures in osteoporosis are. So very important for us to all learn this, whether we have them or not. And when you have them, there are studies that show that we can heal the fractures. So doing what we can to activate the support muscles. Get your strap and make a loop if you have a loop. So if you're able to make a loop where your hands will go about body distance or maybe a little wider if you need, bring your hands down, bring your hands up. If you're able to bring your hands up without bending your elbows, then that might be the appropriate place for you. If you need to bend your elbows, you may want to actually make it a little wider. So making your strap a little wider so you can bring your arms up, arms are down, and arms are coming up. So do what you can here and push out on the strap, activating the shoulder girdle. One more. And then bring yourself back down. So we're going to come to standing. We're going to use our strap. We're going to use the loop. If you have socks on, better to take your socks off when you do the standing practice so that your feet can really sense the floor. And especially because we want to work on that communication for balance. You're going to need your block for this part. And the blanket can go off to the side. So we're going to need our strap and we're going to need our block in a second. So put those off to the side. And put the blanket off to the side. And then we're going to come into doing a warrior and side angle here on the chair. Now, warrior and side angle are part of the standing postures. And when they're done in the chair, this is the first level to come into them. What I find doing this in the chair is you stretch. Usually there's more of the stretching that takes place in these postures when you're in the chair. So let me get this off the side so that won't be in the way visually. Okay. So coming on to the very front edge of your chair and letting the chair come right where your knee is. That's going to be really key. Let your back leg be back and the toes are pointing in. Straighten that back leg. Front leg, the toes are pointing away. So even being in this position here, you may experience quite a big stretch in the pelvic area, pulling on the pelvis, which is one of the things we do to strengthen bones. We pull on them. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. And as you inhale, bring your arms up. This is warrior 2. Lower your shoulders, look over the front fingers. Long neck, reaching long with your fingers in both directions. Look back to the back hand. Pull your body weight back. So pull your body weight back to make sure you didn't go forward in your body. So pull your body weight back. Push the feet into the floor. Now, for some of you, you could push your feet into the floor and maybe even lift up off the chair. Really hard to be in this deep flexion, the 90-degree angle of the knee and potentially the hip. Harder to raise from this position. So only coming up if that's appropriate for your body. If you want to stay down, but be very active, long neck, reaching through the fingers, chest is lifting. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Let's go to the other side. Take your time. This is definitely a deep stretch in the pelvic area, the inner thighs. Not normally a position that we have our legs in, this spread of a position. So we can be exploring some nooks and crannies here. Taking that back leg forward if you need, maybe a little more relieving for tension if you're feeling tension. Sitting on the chair and come into what's comfortable. So definitely this is a pretty deep opener. Bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. And then inhale, let your arms raise, looking over the front finger, long neck, lifted chest, lowered shoulders, shoulder blades sliding towards each other. Look towards the back hand, pull your body weight back, and then let your head look forward. Push both feet into the floor. If you want to explore lifting on this side, you might need to come forward in your chair, depending on if you have an angled seat or not. Lifting if it's appropriate for you. If it doesn't feel like that's okay for you on this side, or to lift at all, then don't. It's your practice. Take one more breath. Bring yourself down. Bring yourself all the way out. Noticing what you notice in your legs from that position. So part of doing this in the chair that I think is really beneficial is that the hip joint is what we really want to avoid fracturing. And so it's about strengthening the bones. It's about strengthening the muscles. It's also about the flexibility that you maintain in the joint, that range of motion. Because if you do slip, trip, stumble, or fall, you want a lot of play in that joint. So it's not a rigid joint that can barely take any tension. You want it to be able to be mobile so that it doesn't pull on the bone or create too much force in the hip joint that will either fracture the bone from forces or from pulling. If the muscles are really tight, tendons are tight, pulling on the bones can also create stress fractures. So in the seated version of doing the Warrior Two and the side angle, I find it to be a really great way to deeply stretch this area. Doing, of course, what's appropriate for your body. Let's come into the side angle here. So coming to the front edge of your chair, bringing your feet into the position of the warrior. Bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. Inhale to let your arms raise. So lift your arms up, lift your heart, lengthen your spine. Look over your front fingers. From here, you're going to reach long with that front arm. Bring the low belly closer to the top thigh as you bend over. And then bring your hand down and your hand up. So this may be where you stay, or you could explore bringing your hand on the inside of the knee. When you push away with that hand, you'll get more length and more lift in your torso. Arm up towards the sky, and then you can lengthen on that side. Really pushing your arm into the leg. Push that heel into the floor. Push that leg into the chair, and then spiral your heart forward, adding a rotational force into your spine. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back up to the Warrior Two. And then bring yourself out. Let's go to the other side. Moving your chair. Take your back foot back, front foot forward. Stretching the ankle on that back foot, which is really important for fall prevention. So the standing postures do a lot of great ankle and foot work as well. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. Inhale to let your arms raise. Look over the front fingers. Inhale here, get long. Bring that belly closer to the thigh. Bring the hand onto the thigh and the other hand up into the air. So you stay in here, pushing your arm into your leg so you're not collapsing, your body's not moving down. You're pushing away to get long and then to rotate your body forward. Arm on that inner knee will give you more traction, more ability to get those rotational forces to come into your spine. Arm can go up or it could stay straight up towards the sky. You want to make sure the arm doesn't come forward. So don't bring the arm forward in this direction if it's going to come forward. Keep it up here. If it comes, it should be right alongside your ear. Heart long, body spiraling forward. Push that front heel into the floor. Head up will be a little bit more tension in the neck. You could let the head go down or keep the head forward, working on strengthening the neck in this position. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up, bring yourself all the way out. Come to a seated position. Close your eyes and notice the seated variation of Warrior Two and side angle, how this feels in your body. Did you give it maximum effort and create a lot of tension that ends up strengthening muscles and bones? And you'll tell by your heartbeat. When your heartbeat accelerates, you're demanding more oxygen. The muscles are working and they're demanding oxygen. So an accelerated heartbeat can be a good way to determine if you're asking for enough. Mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose. And then open your eyes. So get your block and your strap. We're going to come up and do a chair pose from the chair. So really loading from a real deep flexion, hip flexion. So we can come from a really deep place and using the chair as safety. Bring your block in between your legs. Bring your strap in your hands. So that strap is in the hands. And you decide the width of the strap according to what your needs are. So you want to come into the chair with straight arms. Bring your feet, walk your feet closer to the chair. And then walk your feet closer together so they're about block distance. Definitely be at the front edge of your chair. Exhale, come forward, push your heels in, lift your arms up, and then come to sit down. Stop, no momentum for coming up again. Come forward, heels. Forward, heels, squeeze the block. One more, we're going to come up and stay. Come forward, heels, stay here. Look down, make sure you can see your top feet. So push your knees back, tushy back. Lift your arms more if you can. Sit deeper in your hip if you can. Push out on your strap. Push your heels into the floor. That'll free up the pelvis a little to point the tailbone down. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Catch your breath. Bring your strap off to the side. Prepare your space. Either be near a wall if you need, or not. Bring your chair onto the mat. Let's find Tadasana Mountain. Tadasana Mountain. Bring your toes either to touch or barely apart. Hands are down. Push your heels into the floor a lot. And then the pinky toe edges and then the toes. Hands are down alongside your body. Push your hands back. Lift your heart, lengthen your spine. Posture of alignment. Imagine there's a hook behind you on the wall that is a posture hook. You push yourself back. You lift up 1/4 of an inch to put yourself on that posture hook. A nice gentle hook to help support your head. Find that length in your spine. Reach down with your hands, back with your hands, down with your feet, down with your top thighs, up with your pubic bone towards your belly. For those that want to challenge balance or have the ability to do so, closing one eye and then the other. For those that are able to close both eyes, feeling the mountain in your body, only do whatever is appropriate for you. There's no prizes given out. You want to stay safe and stimulate your body as strongly and safely as possible. Find your posture hook behind you. Tuck your chin down a little, lift yourself back and up to put yourself on the posture hook. Take one more breath. From here, move to one side, bend the knee, knee out to the side, bring the foot up in between the ankle and the knee, coming into your tree pose. Hands could be down alongside your body, out to the side, up on your waist or in front of you, whatever feels appropriate. Play with all of those. Hands on the waist, elbows back, a little bit more stabilizing if balance is an issue for you. Down alongside the body or up, maybe a little more challenging. Begin to look up if you're able to. Find a spot to hone in on, to focus on. Take one more breath. Dismount gracefully back into your mountain. Align your feet. Hands are down. Find that alignment. Move over to the side. Bend the toes and the knee goes straight forward. Keep the foot on the ground as you swivel into external hip joint rotation. Push the standing foot down into the ground. Bring the opposite foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Enter this posture in alignment. It doesn't matter where you get to, where you go. Go to where your body will allow you to go to. Then you choose the hand position, whatever that is for you. Looking up if that's appropriate, finding your gaze. Let your mind be in your foot and in your ankle. Noticing the dance. Just like a tree in the wind, a natural tree has movement. Your body will have movement. Embrace that. And if you challenge yourself too much by swaying, you may come out and then come back in. One more breath. Slowly dismount, gracefully, back to mountain. And then relax. So with the tree posture, one of my favorites, many people think that they should be static in their tree and not moving at all, and that means you have great posture. But in actuality, the movement and the dance that's happening in the body, that's a good thing. And even if you do come out of it and need to come back in, that trains your body, trains your joints to be able to handle all that different movement. And that's what keeps us safe if we slip, trip, or fall. That's what helps us be bendable and not breakable. So let's move on. We're going to come on to Warrior 3. It's taking the chair. So Warrior 3, for those that don't need a chair, well, let's all come into it with a chair. And then if you want to proceed out of Warrior. So with the Warrior 3, we're actually loading up the hip joint in a forward fold. And forward folding at the hip is okay. Forward folding at the spine is not. So you only go forward to where you can, and what's going to determine that is the leg muscles and how limber your legs are. So let's stand near our chair. Toes are touching, or you're pretty close together. You could have a block on your chair and a chair. So I'm going to give you different variations depending on what you need. So let's begin with our hands on the back of the chair. And then bring your body weight over to the foot you're going to load up on. Take the back foot back. And then keeping your front spine nice and long, keep the back toes on the ground. Start to load forward into that front hip, keeping your spine long. Now you can either keep your hands on the top, you could keep your hands on a block, one hand on, one hand off, or you could bring yourself down onto the chair. So whatever feels appropriate for your body, find that, keeping your spine long. And then lift the opposite leg up. This is Warrior 3. If you wanted to explore lifting one hand off or both hands off, you could try that. Flex the lifted leg so the toes are pointing down towards the ground. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bend your knees, bring yourself out. Bring yourself all the way out. Toes are forward. Hand is on the chair. You're going to start loading into that hip. Let your foot go back. Start loading. Bend forward to where you feel is appropriate. For some, it may be that both hands on the chair feel appropriate and you're able to keep your spine long. And you're going to lift that back leg up. Toes are pointing down. You could lift the arm off, especially the opposite arm off, or both arms off. Or you could work a little more on strength and keep the arms down, making sure that your bend is in your hip joint, not in your spine. The front spine is nice and long. Head is lifted. You're not hanging your head, really lifting that foot. Toes are pointing down towards the ground. Take one more breath. Bend your standing leg, bring yourself out. Come back up to your Tadasana mountain. And then relax. Let's come into leg stretching. So we're going to use the chair or the block or whatever it is you use for triangle. So from mountain, coming into a wide stance. Push the foot into the floor, lift the toes. Toes go under the chair, foot goes back. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Exhale. Inhale to lift your arms. From here, reach long, and then bring your hand onto the top of the back of the chair. If you're able to bend the hip a little more, so bending the hip a little more to put the hand down. And if you're able to bend a little more, bringing your hand onto the block, try that. Push your feet into the floor, point the tailbone down. Long spine. Long spine, rotate your trunk forward. Really try to look up towards the sky. So adding more forces for your spine. Push your feet into the floor. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up and out and all the way out. Let's go to the other side. Coming from the mountain, wide stance, toes under the chair, back foot back, shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Reach down with your fingers. Exhale, inhale, reach forward and long. Bring your hand onto the back chair. Bending that hip a little more, come down onto the seat. If you're able to go lower, bending your hip, not your spine. Long spine, rotate. Push your feet into the floor. Feel like you're moving the knees away from each other. So create all this tension and these forces in your body to stimulate bone growth. Don't just hang out. Really work to create more tension in the posture. And find that perfect alignment to create those safe forces to build bones. Take one more breath. Push your feet into the floor and bring yourself up and out to mountain. Let's come into twisted triangle. Let's do twisted triangle this way with the back of the chair. So I'll teach you different ways to do this. The thing with twisted triangle is we bend at the hip. So you've got all that pull happening here. And you take your torso and you rotate your torso over that standing leg, which creates a lot of rotational force in that posterior hip and a lot in that lower lumbar spine. So this is quite a posture. Back of the chair is back. Bring your front foot forward and not too forward. You don't want too much weight in the chair. And then bring your back foot so that it's about 2.5 feet from each other. Push your feet into the floor. Start to push away from the back foot and start to bring your body weight forward and then bend at your hip joint. Bring your hand across the chair and bring the other hand on the back of the chair, pushing into the heel of your hand. So you're not grabbing onto the chair. The fingers are not doing this, it's the palm. Push down and then spiral open. Push away from the back pinky toe edge. Once you're here, if you'd like, you could bring that hand up onto your waist, opening up and adding more spiral force. Shoulder blade pressing back towards the spine, helping to rotate the thoracic spine. Push your heart forward, lengthen your heart, push away from that back foot. Push away from the back foot, push the front foot and the back foot into the floor a lot. Lengthen your torso and rotate the upper torso. Take one more breath. Bending the front foot, bring yourself forward, up and out. Let's switch. block, I guess, could be there for those that felt that they needed to go lower. Yet I think we can get a lot of twerking action this way. And what I find is that the lower down my body goes and then I rotate, I feel a little more forces in the lower part of the body. And when I stay elevated in my upper trunk, I'm able to find more length and more rotational force up top. So it's all good. There's a lot of work in this posture, regardless of what variation you do. The feet are about 2.5 feet apart and your toes are forward. Push your feet into the floor. And when you push down into the floor, get long in your torso as you start to bring yourself down. One hand on the back of the chair on the top, one on the back on the seat. Let it be the heel of the hand, so don't grab your chair. Push away, get long in your spine. Start to turn your torso forward. You could stay here or bring your hand on your waist. Long spine, rotate the upper trunk. Use that elbow to push back so the shoulder blade goes onto the back of the spine, towards the spine, and helps to rotate thoracic spine. Push your back foot into the floor to get long in your body, to feel that rotational force. And notice where you feel the tension. Do you feel that front hip, the side of the hip? Do you feel the calf? Do you feel the back of the foot? Really use that big toe mound of the back foot to push away to get length and rotation. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself slowly out, bending that front knee. Bring yourself up and out. Hands are down alongside your body. And then relax. So we use our chair for a balance posture. Let's do, okay, we're gonna actually do it like this. So you're gonna take your chair here. You could have your block here if you felt that you needed to go lower. So this is called Ardha Chandrasana. Putting the block there if you need it. I'm not gonna come down onto the block. So with Ardha Chandrasana, it's a single leg balance. You have heart lights and hip lights, heart and hips. We want them both to be in the same direction in this posture. We're gonna roll into the side of the hip and balance on the side of the hip. So you're gonna bring a foot forward and the chair is there. You're gonna bend forward. That front leg could be straight or bent when you come into this. Hand goes on the chair and put it right up against the back of the chair because that'll help with balance. Then push your foot in, start to straighten that leg and bring yourself up into this posture. That's a pretty strong balance posture, so make sure that this is okay for you. If not, you need to be near a wall when you do this. Having the back of the chair there may be a little secure. Hand could be on the waist, elbow back, that may be helpful. Really lift that standing leg. And then if you'd like, you could bring your arm up towards the sky. Lift that leg up that's lifting up. You're going to strengthen the side of the body on that side. So a lot of different areas are getting strengthened here. Take one more breath. To dismount gracefully and safely, you want to bend the standing leg. You want to turn your heart light and hip light down towards the ground. Keep your head active. And then bring yourself out. Where the head goes, the spine follows. So making sure that you're not looking down or rounding your head, because in the next section, the thoracic will come into that flexion position. So when you're entering and exiting postures, pay attention to where your head is when you do that. Bring the chair to the other side. Block if you're going to use it. So you're going to bring the other foot that you're going to be loading onto. You're going to bend forward. The hip is what's bending, not the spine. Bring your hand onto the chair so that the back of the arm goes up against the chair. And then begin to load into this. Take your hand on the back of the chair. Lift your leg pretty active. Grab the floor with the foot you're standing on. Hand can come onto your waist. Heart light and hip light is forward. Really lift that leg. Arm can go up if that's appropriate for you. Keep your leg active. Long spine. Take one more breath. To come out, you bend the standing leg. Come out gently, coming back into mountain. And then shake your hands. We'll come down onto the ground to do some postures there. So move your chair off. Get your blanket, your strap, and your block. Coming down onto the ground, loading into your joints, loading yourself down slowly, head up. Bring your blanket underneath your knees. Let's come on to a plank posture, core strengthener, front body strengthener. Pointer fingers are forward. Take one foot back and then the other. If you need your legs to be on the ground, the knees and the shins, do that. Push your fingers into the floor. Push your feet into the floor. Push through your heels. Keep your head active and lifted. Long spine. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Feel yourself actively pushing away from the floor with your feet and your hands. Make sure your pinky toes are pressing into the ground. One more breath. Bring your knees down. Come into a seated or kneeling position to catch your breath. Close your eyes. Take one more breath. Let's come down. Blanket, top the mat. Come to the side, reach your hand long, bring yourself down onto the mat. How lovely it feels to be on the ground. Noticing after all that work, how it feels so nice to be on our backs. Let your shoulder blades slide towards the spine. Bring your knees into your chest, side to side. Bring your feet down, grab your strap. Take your left foot in the air. Bring the strap in the arch of the foot. So we're going to work on pulling
on the pelvis. The muscles probably will be warmed up from all of that standing work we did. Wrap your hands around, draw the leg deeply into the socket, push the leg away with your muscles, and then let's enter the posture strongly. Pull the leg towards the back wall, pushing away and pulling back. Create that oppositional force. Pull the leg back, push it away. Really create a strong force. Try to keep your back away from the ground. Feel all that tension in the left buttock as you're creating that pulling and pushing action. Take one more breath. Let's switch legs. Take the right foot up, arch of the strap, pull the strap down into your pelvis. Really feel that deep rooted hip joint. Push the leg away and let's enter. Pull the leg towards the wall behind you. Push the leg away, pull it towards the wall behind you. Long neck. One more breath. And then bring the other leg up into the air. So we're going to do big toe pose 3, which is both legs straight. Take your hands around the strap. Try to keep the legs straight if you can. Have the feet be about body distance. Push the legs away and then pull the legs towards the wall behind you. Create as much tension as you can where your legs attach to your body. Push out on the strap, push the legs away from you, and pull the legs towards the wall behind you. Push the legs away, pull them back. Push and pull. You're not just hanging out here. You're trying to pull on your pelvis to get strength in the pelvic bone. So push them away, pull back. One more breath. And then go ahead and release. Strap down alongside your body. Draw your knees into your chest. Grab the block. Make sure the blanket is either no blanket or a very narrow folded blanket. Let's do a little inverted bridge. No work here, just all relaxation. Let your body settle. Put the block underneath your pelvis. Let your arms go down alongside your body. Let this be a relaxation posture. It's an inversion. It brings the blood back to the heart, to the neck, to the carotid arteries. If you have glaucoma or a headache, this is counterindicated. Keep the mouth closed, breathing in and out through the nose. Let your body settle. Breathe to your belly. Let your belly rise and fall. One more breath. If you'd like to come into a full body stretch, if that's appropriate for your body, really stretching those hip flexors, the belly, arms are overhead, feet are long. This is the back bend. This is a shape we want in our body. This is safe for the bones, safe for the spine. One more breath. Walk your feet back, take the block out. Blanket back behind your head. Time for Shavasana. Legs are straight, legs are spread pretty wide, arms are alongside your body. Let your body relax here. Stay connected to your breath. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to move your fingers, your toes, your feet, your hands. Bending the knees. Draw the knees into the chest. Moving side to side. Coming all the way onto your side. Pushing away from the ground. Come up to a kneeling or seated position. Close your eyes. Yoga is a practice of you showing up for you, taking care of you, your mind, your body, and your soul. So stay closed in your eyes, stay here in this moment. Bring your hands together, feel them touch. Bring your heart to your hands and press your heart to your hands and your hands to your heart. Feel that activating right behind your heart, that structure, that support. Using sound to clear, to settle, to relax, to soothe. Keeping the mouth closed, we'll do a gentle hum. Take a big exhale. Inhale. Bring your hands to your forehead. The part of you that knows, this is the deep knowing part of us, the front of the brain, the intelligence, our intelligence. And with that intelligence, bowing in gratitude for the opportunity of self-care to do what we just did in our practice. Today's practice had 13 postures, and I would consider today, I gauge the practices I teach according to strong, stronger, and strongest. This is the strongest. This is definitely up there with strongest. And it was some of the strongest postures, but it's also how you show up to each one, how much effort you give, how much pulling you give, how much alignment you're able to create, how much rotational force you bring into your body. So even a strong practice could be strongest if you show up that way. But today's practice definitely had a lot of strength in it and a lot of instruction into that strength piece. So pay attention to how you feel. That'll be your gauge on what's appropriate for you, your body, and your bones so that you can stay safe and create stronger bones. All right. I definitely am going to feel that. I definitely gave it a lot of effort today in my own body. And some of the postures we did today are some of my most challenging for me. So are you still here, Sue? And Jeannie, I'm sure you loved that. Mona, I hope that was good for you. I was thinking of you, I think, with the posture and also that strength. Today's posture taught near a wall. Being near a wall would probably be a little bit more manageable for some. And I'd love to hear from you, Sue. Okay, good. I'm sure that's going to keep you warm, Sue, in your what? -4 Celsius. -4 Celsius. One day I'd love to be there, though. I'd love to be in the Yukon with the snow and making soup and drinking herbal tea. That's the kind of things I think about. You're welcome, Jeannie. Yeah, I know, Jeannie. And this is the kind of practice that you can handle. And so this is what's going to keep us super strong forever in our bones, our joints, our muscles. Yeah, I'm sure it is. You know, Sue, when I said close your eyes, put your arms like this, you know what came to my mind? So weird. I've never been to, I think it's called Lake Victoria in Canada. But I know I've seen a visual of it where there's this big, beautiful lake, and behind it, there's these amazing mountains. And that's the visual that I looked at was a lake with a mountain with the reflection of the mountain. That's like what my beautiful visual was that made me smile. So anyway, Canada is a beautiful country.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies. My Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program begins on Tuesday. If you want to look deeper at biochemistry of bones and gut health and how that's related, because you need to be digesting, absorbing, and assimilating your food. And so that program is to help you get a lot more knowledge on what you can do from a deeper aspect of making sure you're digesting, absorbing, and assimilating your nutrients. I have a podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. Please listen to that. I'd love some reviews and share that with someone you think may be interested. I'm interviewing a lot of people. Eleni, okay, Elenist. Okay, here's what I have to say to you. Segapo. Segapo. That means I love you, for those of you that don't speak Greek. I know two things how to say, and one of them is not good. So I'm going to say the good one. Welcome. Wow, what time is it in Greece? I don't think I've ever had anybody that I know of practicing with me live from Greece. I have had people in Switzerland and in the UK and in Canada, different time zones, and of course, East Coast America. So welcome. I hope that that was good for you and your body and your bones. I'm Debbie. Nice to meet you. Anybody else have anything else they'd like to say or ask? And for my podcast, I'm interviewing a pharmacist today. We're going to talk about medications and how it affects minerals and gut health, which are two critical issues for bone health. So that podcast will be released in a few weeks. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day, ladies. Drink a lot of water, process whatever just happened in your body, and don't jump into stress. Stay in the bone building zone for as long as possible. Have a great day.